You're on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live on Dee's channel. Thank you, Dee, for running the safety meeting this afternoon. Folks, welcome to the show. Hopefully, you guys will hop on here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dee's channel because, of course, Dee has great channel as well. He does a few lives of his own now. Ladies and gentlemen, please help D out and of course help him out because he's been helping us out. Not because, but what am I trying to say? I'm stepping all over my freaking tongue right now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to D's channel. My channels are currently down right at the moment. Fumidoro and Fumidor and the Flavors are both on strike. So thank you very much to the awesome trolls that have been doing that. They're just awesome people. We all know they're really fulfilled and happy people, I'm sure, in their own lives. I'm sure that everybody around them really likes them and really thinks that they're just great folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, just let's give a warm, hearty round of applause to the fucking trolls. Anyway, in the meantime, ladies and germs, do join also or subscribe to my new channels. I'm going to put them in the chat here in a little bit. Fumes of Gold and Dank Culture Collective. So I've been saying for a long time that I probably have to have 10 channels before I'm done because they're just going to chase us from one channel to another. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dank Culture Collective, please do subscribe to that. And of course, Fumes of Gold. Please do remember that these channels, I'm sorry, well, actually, all these channels, but these shows and this show specifically are for adults only. Please remember that this is not a show meant intended for, or even, I can't think of another word for it. It's not intended for kids, basically. So, ladies and germs, please do be an adult when you're here. The rules are different all around the world. Where I am, it's 21 and over. If your rules are higher, for example, please follow them. That's on you, not on us. We cannot possibly know all the rules worldwide. This show does get broadcast to a variety of countries. We've had people tune in from South Africa and other places. So, folks, I couldn't possibly know all the different rules where you are located. Please do follow your local rules. Dee and I are both medical patients. We are perfectly allowed to do what we're doing. We are allowed to grow more than the normal amount of plants. That's one of the nice perks of having a medical card, honestly. Of course, I guess the downside is you have to have fucking problems in your life. But in the meantime, if you do have problems in your life, I guess the benefit of that is that you get to have a little bit more cannabis plants in your life. Yay. Ladies and germs, please do remember that we are not fucking around here. We're not taking this as a joke. We're not basically, I don't even know, haphazardly growing on the street corner. We are growing for medicine and for our well-being and for other reasons as well, of course. Ladies, and for our own personal joy, for example. Ladies and germs, please do remember if you feel so inclined as to report this channel, please do remember that we are not here in some, I don't know, gang banging fucking representation. We're here basically talking about cannabis in a fun, lighthearted way. If you would like to continue listening to us, you are more than welcome. If you have a contrary opinion, you'd like to even share your contrary opinion. This is a discussion show, and a little bit here I'm going to be posting a link. If you have a different opinion about cannabis, even, you are welcome to come and discuss it with us. If you are able to do it in a calm and unemotional way. You're not allowed to come up here and fight with us, basically. That's not what this show is about. It's not the Jerry Springer show. But basically, we do welcome contrary opinions. I sometimes wonder if maybe we should mention that if you don't like this show, you're welcome to come on here and tell us why, or tell us what your contrary opinions about life in general, something that we're doing wrong in your opinion, whatever it is. I mean, I don't really tolerate direct attacks. That doesn't seem very productive. But if you'd like to have a debate with us, no matter what your opinion is, please feel free to come on here if that helps you understand what the show is about. Come on, seriously, we're not here to bite you or to attack you or anything else. Anyway, what am I trying to say? We don't sell anything illegal on this show, ladies and germs. As you can see, I'm actually not selling anything today. D behind me is certainly not selling anything illegal, so please don't even bother in this show for anything illegal. We don't do anything illegal. Meanwhile, maybe focus your attention on some of the crappy parts of YouTube where they abuse animals or other people. There are even actually other cannabis channels where they literally sell drugs out the back door. I'm not saying you should go attack those people, but I'm just saying, like, where are your priorities that you literally are just attacking us for talking, pretty much? We would just like to have a conversation. We would like to be left to our own devices to have that conversation instead of constantly being assaulted by people with bad blood that used to be on the show or something else. Honestly, move on with your life. If you have bad blood, find a way to deal with it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Someone is currently suing me, and it's completely illegitimate. You'll have to take my word for it because I don't know the details. You see me gnashing and wailing my teeth and calling everyone around me a piece of shit? No. I would like to in some circumstances, but I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, be mature in your life. Don't let yourself be consumed by What are you, a Sith Lord, the fucking dark side? Come on, honestly, there's no such thing as the dark side. Don't let yourself be consumed by hatred and bile and bad blood and everything else. It's not healthy for you. Never mind the enemy that you are just pointlessly hating. Anyway, ladies and germs, probably enough moralizing. I should find Dee's channel here somewhere and finally post the link. In the meantime, I'm going to let Dee introduce himself because it's probably going to take me a second because I realize I'm going to have to go to his channel. And so that means that I'm going to have to go to my subscriptions and then find his channel. And so it's going to take me a second to find the chat. Ladies and germs, Dee.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, chat? Yeah, I know. I was sitting there. I was gonna pin the link, and then I was like, and then my notifications refreshing. I'm like, okay, where the hell is Fumidor's pop up? Where is it? Waiting. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on my channel. Anyways, I'm smoking on cannabis. Like always, I don't remember. Couple different things. I hope everybody's having a great day. Yeah. Don't forget to like my channel. It's then subscribe, and it's dzombie underscore 745. Hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell, and get notified when I go live, or I go live with Fumi here. Um, yeah, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment that helps the thing, whatever you call it. But anyways, yeah, hope everyone's having a great day, and don't forget the live chat, top chat, live chat.
Yeah, man. So apparently I'll be able to broadcast on those two channels. I should show you which channels those are. Uh, Fumes of Gold, already 26 subscribers. Thank you, folks. Uh, Weird how one has more than the other. I wonder, is it just the name? People are like, oh, that name is cool. I'm gonna subscribe to that one more. The Dank Culture Collective has four more. So that's, oh, why is it coming up random name? Okay, hold on. Fine. Channel. My
Oh,
channel. There we go.
I got to. There we go.
Here's Pip
Right up.
Jam. Good to see everybody in chat. Good to see Miss Chronic. They're smoking on wedding pie over there at the House of Chronic. What's up, Kramer Gross? Speaking of which, Robert Benjula is in the house, probably eating some pho in the morning. Oh, wait, no, it's probably evening for him. He's saying
Yeah.
fuck you is what he's saying. Poor Pizza Dave's in the house. What's going on, Poor Pizza Dave? St. Pete Runner already hanging with us. What's going on, St. Pete? Good chance that Pip Jam MBF might have been the first in the chat. I can't quite tell because I got the pin link here up there. But somebody was first. Who the hell were you? Oh, there it is. Crabmore Grows. Congratulations on firsting. Well done. Rim Purple in the house. Good to see you, Rim. Long time no see. Welcome to the show. Obviously, welcome to hop on if you'd like, Rim.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
see,
hey,
ladies and
four.
gentlemen, even though we are, well, especially since we're on Dee's channel, it's very kind of Dee for allowing us basically to do this show on his channel. Because again, the main channel and the backup channel are down, unfortunately. Ladies and germs, hit that link. We're basically doing Fumidor rules, even though it's on Dee's channel right now. Thank you very much, Dee, for allowing this. Don't be a dick. Don't share your dick. Don't be a fucking prick. I should probably find more things that rhyme. Honestly, just don't come on here to be a fucking prick and a half. Don't come on here to start a fight. But if you'd like to come and have a conversation with us, whatever it's about, we have a fairly open field of conversational topics on this show. Come join it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm always surprised at how few people take us up on the opportunity to talk about literally whatever crosses your mind. If you want to talk about gardening or growing or breeding or anything else, I was just having a whole long conversation with a friend of mine about breeding. I was like, we could totally be having this conversation on the fucking show, but instead we talk about other stuff. Well, hey, that's what we decided to talk about on the show. Ladies and germs, the conversation goes where we and you, frankly, take it. We like to talk quite a bit with the chat. We interact quite often with the chat. So, by the way, if you're listening in, chances are you know what the chat is if you're on Dee's channel. But if you don't, there is a YouTube chat. There's quite a few nice folks. That's who we're saying hello to, like Rim Purple and Pip Jam MBF, and Pip Jam MBF, and Miss Chronic and all those folks. Pip Jam MBF. I don't think I've ever asked you what MBF means, and every time I say your name, I think
Bad
of the
motherfucker.
particle board MDF. What does it stand for, D?
Oh, I thought it was gonna be bad motherfucker, but maybe it's mother bad fucker.
What's up, S Organics? Cheers, buddy. Organic Soul Garden says, yo, this is the chat listening in. That's very meta. It's like the fourth wall talking back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, do hop on though. Like I said, don't be a dick, don't show your prick. Come on here and talk about what makes you tick. I guess that's better. Anyway, but seriously, if you guys would like to hop on here and talk about genetics or whatever, we're going to be here for a little bit longer. I was just saying, I didn't finish my thought earlier. I was babbling randomly, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to post these links." These channels are not yet allowed to live stream until apparently tonight. I don't know exactly what time tonight, but I don't know, 7 or 8 p.m. I'm honestly curious. Would anyone like to go for a quick live tonight? Not a long one, 1 or 2 hours tops, 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 tops. I don't even think I have 2 hours. Or tomorrow. Doesn't have to be tonight, could be tomorrow. It would be nice to build up the channels a little tiny bit because soon enough, I was supposed to already be in California, but one thing has led to another, and there's an ice storm and everything else, and I'm not yet in California. So soon enough, I have to go there. Okay, I have to take this call. Ladies and germs, hop on here and listen to.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a great day. While Fumi steps away from the computer, I'll just take over in his uh for the moment. Every night, no Tremor Grows. Oh my God, Miss D would kill me if I didn't ever show every night. She's happy with me doing the Monday, or the Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday show. I can't be doing it every day. That'd be crazy.
Hey,
No
brother.
Soul Gurnix. Oh, Soul.
Oh, Kramer Gross is saying no, not every night. He's asking every night. No, not every night. I don't think. Just
He
how
would
do I
kill
put
me.
this? It's just a frustrating situation that I'd like to be able to get a little bit of I don't know. Perhaps this is just my dumb brain talking. I don't know. There's been a lot going on in my life, and I would like to have a little bit of control over it, to be perfectly honest. So I was thinking it would be nice to sort of establish those channels a little bit before I do fuck off to California, because I don't know honestly if my internet is going to be perfect down there. I'm not going to be there long enough to sign up for internet and everything else. So I'll probably be off my phone. So, gosh, there's dead zones galore down there where I'm going to be.
Yeah,
So there's a very
that.
good chance I won't be able to run the shows normally, or you'll have to do a takeover or something. So I'm like, fuck, I'm tired of these months long problems because it was all the problems when I was in Israel and moving and this and that. So anyway, that's basically where I'm coming from. I would like to just go live for a little bit, and I don't know, hopefully just if anyone comes to that channel, oh, there's actually a video there, so they'll actually know, okay, this is not just a parking spot on the internet or something. Anyway, perhaps that's silly, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you? It's been a long and eventful time.
Candy
What
Crush.
can I tell you? Welcome, folks. Though, do hop on. I mean, seriously, do hop on. We
Ah,
don't bite. We bite munchies, but we don't.
ah.
Unless you're made of munchies. I don't know. Are you made of cinnamon apple raisin bread or something? What are you? Banana bread? I don't know. What raspberry pound cake? Are you a human, like sentient raspberry pound cake? That would be weird. A human cake hybrid? That's something from like a laboratory somewhere. What am I looking for? Or oh, here comes Bud Kilowatt. I should probably make some of you guys moderators. Oh, wait, no, D's the host.
Can't.
Good, Bud. Good to see you.
And unfortunately, I can't either do that. I used to have the premium, don't have the premium subscription, so I
You're
can't make
you're cutting out
co-hosts.
like every other word. You're like, yep, 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 yep. What were you saying, D?
Oh, I can't make you guys co-hosts either because I guess I don't have the premium anymore.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah,
That's fucking garbage. I'm paying for it.
yeah, but this is
Oh,
my
literally,
thing.
I've literally for 4 or 5 months now, I have been paying for an extra Zoom just for you that we've never once gotten working.
Yeah,
Call them. I bet they won't give me my money back for any of that time. Anyway,
no, they're
what's up,
friggin'
Kilowatt?
idiots. Where's the?
Oh, he's just pointing at horses.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's feed time at the 11 o'clock. Well, I'm an hour late, but everybody gets fed. Horses eat 3 times a day. I don't have to do the morning what, 7 a.m. Yeah, I do that.
What do they eat? Just hay?
Alfalfa and Bermuda and snacks. They get carrots and apples because I'm a nice guy. But no, basically they live on Bermuda and alfalfa. And I've learned because, they really love alfalfa. But if you feed them too much alfalfa, that's protein. Then they get jacked up. And unless you're going to exercise and ride them, they're better off just eating the Bermuda, even though they prefer the alfalfa. But that's how you kind of control their demeanor, is with food. Oh, you want to get them real jacked up? Give them grain and alfalfa. More protein, and they get more jacked up. Yeah, so these are Bermuda bat. Well, one lucky guy gets an alfalfa bag. I don't know who I'm going to give it to, but yesterday we put this horse for like an hour in this lower pasture, and it pushed the fence and then just basically ate this chunk of the alfalfa. Yeah. So
What about
I threw the scraps in a bag. Yeah, I realized my life has been filling reservoirs for growing and horses and animals. Oh, that's your main thing. Like, oh, there's food, but they need fresh water. And even some of the reservoirs, well, I used 100-gallon reservoirs that I used to buy at the horse supply place, those black but the point I was saying is, as I stand there filling up 50 to 100-gallon reservoirs, I realized, not much difference between growing and taking care of animals. I'm standing there filling up reservoirs half my life.
well, adding nutrients or nothing to it?
No.
This stuff. Yeah.
Every once in a while, you got to clean them out because they get a little nasty. But other than that,
yeah. Do they ever get sugar cubes?
Yep.
Oh, great on.
If you're gonna ride them, and so that means they get a bit put in their mouth, either a peppermint candy or a sugar cube.
Oh.
Yeah, and then because they're like chomping on that, and it's real easy to slide the bit in, and that's like their treat. And they really love peppermints, like candy canes. Oh,
wow.
I don't know. They love candy or sugar. No, I don't think they eat. Well, they'd eat chocolate, I imagine, but I don't think there's too many animals that don't like sugar.
Wow, I never heard of peppermint before. That's interesting.
Here, wait. Even my boss, like we go out to dinner at this Italian place, and she says, "Oh yeah, they stopped giving away the peppermints because I used to take them all." Because people don't really. Restaurants offer those, but not that many people are in there. Like, here's the snack thing. I got peppermints. I'll bring it. I like it. I spoil the horse.
Have another coffee. Have another coffee.
I always have like a pocket full of goodies or carrots or like when they see me coming, they're like, "Oh, the candy man's coming, or the carrot man, or the apple man." I always have something. Now my boss, who it's her horses and her whole life is horses. It's not, we have all these things here, but like she doesn't think to. I've won their. They all love me because for like 2 months. I'm the candy man. See, look, even when I go down there, they'll see me they hear me, and then they'll all come to the. Yeah, they're all waiting.
Just so you know, bud, we can't see you. Your
Yeah,
camera's
no.
not on.
Oh, I see what I did. This is Etchy.
Okay, that's
Look at
getting spotlighted right now. And I might
she's
even
got
turn my TV on for this.
this other horse that we board. This little pony horse bit her nose a couple days ago. It's healing. This is Etchy.
Oh, you gotta go.
This is Magic.
Oh, she's not plugged in. Right on. Right up the nose. That's not even gonna shove it up the
This is a filly named Zini, and it's maybe 7 months old. It's a baby. She's funny.
you.
This is a stud named Fly. And yeah, this is my new life basically, and like, oh, I'm lucky. Like somehow the animals and taking care of animals all day, and I don't know. It's like it's special.
Like
this one's pregnant. This is the mom of Zini, and then she's been inseminated with a horse from Ohio named Gowdy. Like, yeah, you just buy the sperm in the mail, and
yeah, that's it.
I wasn't here for all that, but she's due in June.
See, what's my channel again?
Even yesterday, we sold a cow and a baby.
Yeah,
because we have another bull and a cow and a baby, so they'll just keep breeding more. They paid like $2,500 for it. They're gonna slaughter them or feed them to meat. Nah, we don't do that.
But right on.
And here's my pack of dogs. They just basically ride around and I don't know, do their thing.
Right on.
Yeah, like most days, like there's never like, oh, this is a long day. Like I don't know. I guess I'm having fun, or I enjoy it so much that next thing you know, the day's over before you know it.
Yep.
See, all these horses are super smart. They know how to open the gates. You have to latch them because they'll just
beautiful
flip the latch with their nose. Like,
so how does that
thing
work?
I learned
to just lasso the freaking pole around. Supposedly, you'd lasso the rope around a pole in front of a tavern or whatever. That's the whole Western movie trope, right? And the horse is apparently too stupid to know it's not tied to the thing. But if it can just unlatch the door, how is the horse stupid?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up not having any experience with horses or these type of animals, but the one thing, like, it was like the first week I realized, however I saw them in movies or portrayed, or I really thought, I didn't realize they were like so intelligent and like so much personality and like, yeah, horses aren't dumb though. Like, neither are cows or bulls.
No.
They're like super smart.
Oh.
I mean, I guess varying degrees, but I for whatever reason, I have this idea that they were like, I don't know where I got it. Mainly just from TV or movies or however we even realizing that at one point before we had cars and people say, oh, your dog is your best friend. Well, back in the day, your horse was probably everything to you, right? I mean, beyond transportation, that's how you got things done. Like, yeah, so people must have like had really, really tight relationships with their horses, you know?
There's old fashioned. Old fashioned. That's awesome. What a beautiful animal. I haven't ridden a horse in a very long time.
Yeah, like I did it periodically as like rental horses. And I even remember that experience. The horse was never very happy. And you would ride out so far and then they'd turn you around and you'd come back. Well, as soon as they were coming back, like, oh, now they wanted to get back as soon as possible because, oh, they've got food. But they didn't want to like be ridden out. And I remember, oh, yeah, realizing that, oh, this horse hates life.
Look at that. Look at those animals. How many horses do you have? Is there total?
6, and then there's one that's a board. Someone pays to board it here.
Wow, that's crazy.
We're kind of we have extra pastures and stuff and could have more
Yeah.
board. And oh, there's always people trying to find, but like, boss don't need money. And she points out, people are fucked up. You know, oh, you enter a deal, they're supposed to do whatever, supply whatever, do their care for their horse. Yeah, people aren't that. Oh, they might do it for a month or two, and the next thing you know, like my boss, Carrie, she thinks a lot of people shouldn't have horses. Like they have, like she has like a standard of like how you should afford to, which is fuck, horses are super expensive, and care for them a certain way. Otherwise, you shouldn't have one. And most people that are boarding a horse, yeah, that's because they don't even have the property to have it. You know. Even I keep learning so much. Like here, I'll show you on this. I forget the names. It takes me a while to learn. Oh wow, he's just taking it right off the thing. This, okay, so I think this is maybe he's called Palomino. Okay, so the horse's color is brown, but its tail and its mane is also brown. And then it's like this horse is brown, but its mane and tail is black. That's named something else. This horse, because it has 4 colors, is like
beautiful.
They all have different names, like the style, even though they're just a horse. Like this beautiful. Is called flea bitten gray. I call it cookies and cream from day one because it looks like cookies and cream ice cream.
Yeah. You know?
But technically, it's called flea bitten gray.
Well, that's a terrible name.
Yeah.
I'd rather call it cookies and cream.
She's all braided in. Yeah, I guess
Aw.
February, March, my
Beautiful.
Carrie will start picking which shows she wins and
Okay, the green one is great.
competes. She used to compete equestrian, which that's gnarly. That's jumps. Now she's older. She's not that old, but she's older in the game of horses. Does dressage, which is basically more like a show, like showing the genetics of the horse, the look, the groom, and it does like basic routine, like, oh, it gallops and then it walks sideways. It doesn't do the, even though we have like the whole arena with the jumps. I remember when she used to be, I've seen her jumping. Yeah, that looks a certain way on TV, but when you see it in person, you realize how radical it is. Like, even just the noise of a horse that big jumping that high and over a jump, it's physical. Like, shit, she's had her hip replaced. She's had shoulder, rotator cuff surgery, all these things from all the years of, horses.
Yeah, I'm not too big on jumping. I like riding, just like trotting or whatever. Hello, Ultra.
Yeah, well, she doesn't. I can't say I'm like an accomplished rider. So like,
Oh, I don't ride that
I was
often.
gonna borrow. One of her friends has like a whatever horse like that. It was gonna come over, then I could ride that. Even though these horses love me and they look so. Oh no, that you need to really know how to ride to ride a horse of that caliber. And if they sense you don't, well, then they'll take advantage of it. That's what I mean. They're smart. Like, even in the months of learning this, yeah, they tested me a whole bunch at the beginning. Like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, and then they took advantage because they're smart as fuck. Now, I've learned a thing or two. Like, look, I told you I had this one bag of alfalfa. They know it. See, this is the grass, and then alfalfa has like, I don't know. It looks like to me a bunch of weed plants that like you just chop down and
give me
put
some
in
of
a
that.
bale. Like, I've always thought they would probably love to eat like your trim and stems and all that. And I don't know what effect it would have on them. Probably.
What
I don't
about
know.
that?
Do they even have an what do you call it, endocannabinoid system? I think a horse probably does. I know that some people believe in CBD and stuff for animals, but I wouldn't want to give a horse like something and then it get high or uncomfortable, like if I didn't, yeah, like, but if it didn't get them high and it just tasted good, or maybe it got them high and it made them comfortable. Like, even the zebra, we have this medicine we bought, or she bought, called Lacanase. So if we start feeding him that, it's like a sedative. It's like, yeah, it's been here almost 3 months. I've come the closest to touching it. But no, ever since the guy we bought it from unloaded it into the stall, no one's touched it. You can't get close to it. It has a lead line. Even my boss, I'm like, okay, so if I can grab the lead line, what do I do next? She says, hang on for dear life. Yeah, first, you're going to have to like exert control, and it's different than a horse. It's half zebra. So, it's got wild animal in it. It's like a whole different thing.
So it says here, animals should never be given marijuana of any product containing more than 0.3% THC. The healing of healthful effects. Oh my God. The healing healthful benefits come from CBD. Many of the horses' owners, trainers who give cannabis products to horses are using the CBD for its calming effects, according to doctors.
Yeah, now I didn't know that, but that sounds like exactly what I thought. And um, yeah, I mean, even myself, I'm careful. I've had not my current set of dogs, but I used to have a dog that would eat weed. Like if you were trimming or it it would eat weed and it would get messed up. And I felt bad when my dog would be all like his balance would be fucked up, his eyes would be all droopy. Yeah, no, that's not funny. Like
They take
maybe
too
as a
much,
kid.
it's too much. It's like getting greened out. But basically, you ease into it and you don't give them too much. It can really help a dog. I think it's perfectly okay to give a dog weed.
Yeah, I
But you have to
imagine
know
in
the
the
dog.
right
You have to. You can't.
application.
Yes, too.
You can't just give a
And
random
one
dog
thing,
random amounts of weed. You give a dog that you know, like your dog. Obviously, you have to have a really strong relationship with them, and you start small. You start with a tiny amount, and then you start to basically, like with many medicines, you double it, double it, double it, double it until you see an effect, and then back off a little bit, and then gradually over time raise it like you do with a person. But long story short, you can get tremendous pain relief with a dog. Don't forget, dogs and cats have arthritis and everything like anybody does. Dogs are tremendous at hiding pain to the point that one of
Yeah.
the most common things that you'll ever hear when the dog pretty much just falls over dead is, "Oh my God," the vet will say the dog had kidney disease for a year or this or that or whatever. That for a person would be debilitatingly painful, but the dog is still laughing and smiling and happy. They're really good at hiding pain. But basically, when you give them something that takes away that pain, you'll see years hop off their life. You'll see them basically run more briskly, play more briskly. You'll see literally like a younger version of the dog, which just means that they've been hiding pain for a long time. So with proper dosages, I think weed is perfectly appropriate for dogs. I've never tried it for a cat. I've never tried it for other animals, but I would be willing to bet that it's appropriate for
well,
other animals too.
I assume I assume with cats, like, oh, cats are affected by that stuff called catnip, which like, oh, they
Yeah.
can just play in that, and next thing you know, they're all like crazy, and like weed. Yeah, weed has its effect, and I assume CBD predominant for animals, not so much, weed that's stuff or it has more of a psychoactive, more of a medicine. And just like we so many years ago, we didn't even know that it was good for people. Like it was in debate, like CBD and the medicine side of cannabis for humans. Yeah, research on animals will probably show that, yeah, because animals, oh, we have a whole tack house of pharmacy for for animals. Like you have to because yeah, there's a lot that you're and most of it, yeah, isn't very like I don't know, but I assume that like some of the worst drugs that humans take come from the the veterinary side of like even right now this current thing called trank or whatever. Yeah, that's used for like if you're have a thousands of pound animal and you're trying to treat it, you don't want it to be like knocked out and laying on its side because then its breathing is disrupted, all this. So they have like a drug that tranquilizes them but keeps them standing.
Special
Right.
K. I think it's Special
Yeah.
K.
Yeah.
Ketamine.
And somehow that's made it, well, it's called trank track or but there's an actual name for it. Yeah, that like a lot of the streets drugs where you see these people all like
Horse.
bent over, and it's not that they're on fentanyl. They're on this other like a horse tranquilizer. It's actually even elephant big game tranquilizer.
Yeah.
That some
It's stupid.
yeah, and
Zombie.
when those people overdose and they give them Narcan, it has no effect because it's not
That's
even opiate based medicine. It's some chemical concoction.
That's it, right? St.
And
Pete runner
beyond all
xylazine.
that, somehow it rots your flesh and your skin, and you basically lose limbs. Like, wait,
Sounds
and,
like crocodile.
and yeah, you're still buying. Like, man,
That stuff's
people are
fucked.
back up.
All right, time to roll the joint. Was everybody in chat smoking? Hello, Horsey.
Smoked a joint of boogie before the show. St. Pete runner is saying it's xylazine.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
What's up, Smashed?
Oh,
Smashed, in fact, says think xylazine, or maybe that's just a typo, is a drug used for sedation, anesthesia, muzzle relaxation, and analgesia in animals such as horses, cattle, and other non-human mammals.
Yeah.
there's one we were giving our dog, for pain, which is also it's like an anesthetic before their anesthetic. They get it. Where they put for operation. I can't talk right today. God. Hello, Smash.
Saying that the problem is weed is 10 times stronger for animals than humans. I don't know that that's exactly true, but you definitely have to take the dosage really seriously with animals because, of course, the animal doesn't really understand. I mean, even if you do have a great relationship with the dog doesn't know what you're doing necessarily. It doesn't have a real frame of reference like, oh, he's going to give me weed, I'm going to get high. They don't really think that way. They might build that association over time if you physically give them like the weed in a treat or something. But don't forget, of course, Smash is partly right because they're eating the weed. So just like an edible basically affects you 10 times stronger than smoking it, giving a dog a piece of weed, don't forget, is 10 times stronger than if the dog smoked a doobie. I mean, it's not going to smoke a doobie, right? But if a dog were standing there smoking a doobie, it probably wouldn't get as high as it would from eating the doobie. Almost certainly wouldn't. And dogs also are able to decarboxylate the weed in their stomach. So even if it's raw weed, it's basically edible for them. So it can be kind of a problem. It makes it very easy to dose weed for a dog because you literally just have to give them a little flake of weed, but you don't have to decarb it or anything. But it also makes it challenging. If a dog does eat an entire nug of weed on the floor, it's going to get fucking high because it basically just ate like 1,000 milligram edible. You know what I mean? So Smash is right in that respect. It's a crazy amount of weed for them. So, but I have, like my dog that died a few years ago, I was giving him maybe like quarter gram a day. It's not a lot. I mean, that's 250 milligrams basically. It's probably not 250 milligrams. It's still probably 150 milligrams basically because or something. My math is probably wrong. Anyway, whatever the milligrams, it was a fair amount for a small dog. But he needed it. It was the end of his life. So your mileage will vary. If your dog is young and healthy and whatever else, you don't need to give them a gram a day. But if your dog is on the way out, honestly, with arthritis and I don't know bone issues and pain issues or cancer or something, then a gram a day is not too much, honestly.
Well, here's a story from my life. Years and years ago, our first Chihuahua that had something wrong with it. We thought it was because he lived in a weed house and was being affected by consuming weed. Even though we never saw him eat it, something was wrong with him. So we go to the specialist, Dr. Cracker, whatever his name was. He's like a world-renowned small dog doctor in Carlsbad. And when we go through the intake, we're like, yeah. And this was years ago when like saying you grew weed or whatever was maybe not a good idea. But yeah, we told them, yeah, we're not sure what's wrong with our dog, but it could be consuming like high grade cannabis and being affected by it. Like, oh, okay, we'll run a test and all this. And it turned out that the dog had heart disease,
Hmm.
but they ran a test, and yeah, there was no levels of cannabis uh, in the dog. That wasn't the problem. But for like the next, it was over 10 years. That dog went to vet, was being treated for heart disease, different vets. Our file, right, basically on page one said that uh, owners thought that dog could be consuming cannabis, even though like 10 years later, like, oh, that wasn't the issue at all. It had heart, but yeah, I can remember going to different vets and then them doctor like coming
Yes.
in and saying, "Hi, nice to meet you," da da da, and
So
then
was your
look
dog
at the
consuming
file
cannabis?
and then look at us and go, "Oh, like yeah." It followed us. Like even yeah, I don't go to that vet anymore, but we had a yeah, they all knew. Like, yeah, because we told them, like, they're like, well, what do you mean smoke? I'm like, no, we grow weed and there's like, trim on the ground and maybe he's eating it. I don't know. Um, we didn't know, but it turned out it was heart disease. Not
No. Oh, yeah, yeah. The Mrs. G's mom's dog was over one day. We were watching it, and we had it on the porch, and I guess it found a roach on the ground and started eating it. And it got messed up just from the roach for hours. She ended up having to take it to the vet.
well, my old partner and roommate. Like this happened in the '90s. We went out to this festival for a few days, and we came home totally wiped out. This cocker spaniel, and the next day we wake up. I'm like, dude, I think your dog got in my backpack. And I can't remember because it wasn't like, oh, people gifted me some mushroom chocolate or some
Oh
shit. I didn't
no.
even really remember. And oh, the dog ate it. And it had to have been a solid week, like 5 days, maybe even longer, where we the dog was messed up bad. Like it was so sensitive to any noise, any light, any movement. We just basically kept them in the room, quiet, dark. Um, he had a vet, and he called the vet and said what happened. And yeah, unlike cannabis, where even that specialist basically said if your dog even was eating cannabis, all it would do would be like make him sick and he'd throw up. Just like when your dog sometimes eats grass, it's because they like it's part of their um it soothes their stomach or whatever. And then they throw up. That's what weed would do if dogs ate like raw weed. If they ate too much of it, it would just make them throw up. But mushrooms, oh no, that wasn't. That was that was bad. That was sad and bad because
Viewer
yeah,
discretion advised.
like it obviously affected him. Like I guess psychedelically. Oh, and a dog doesn't have any ability to process that.
How do you go through ego death when you're already a good boy?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I mean, it's happened. It's happened. The people, I've heard other people say, and the same kind of symptoms. Yeah, they're really like sensitive to all audio, light, movement, and can barely walk. Their balance is fucked up. And it takes days to wear off.
Poor dog, that must be a trip. Oh shit.
Well, back in some era, hippie life and deadhead life, and oh, I'm sure there's some tripping people that like, yeah, thought it was a good idea to trip out with their dogs too, or their animals. I don't know. People do weird shit, that's for sure.
I was gonna say, can we convince somebody to do an experiment on controlled psychedelic experiences for all the animals of the world? I'm curious how like a hippopotamus on mushrooms or LSD would experience the world, or an elephant, or an orca.
Well, even like horses, sometimes certain horses are like stressed and bad personality and
Uh,
like aren't as trainable. Oh, what if you could like give them a mushroom dose and like that's with people too. There's some people that have whatever mental illness type stuff, or and then take a psychedelic and fixes them or helps them. I mean, there's more and more. It's weird that it seems like psychedelic therapy and all that is moving at a faster pace than cannabis research and the medicine side of cannabis. Because yeah, I read different little stories that pop up about different, even like I messed with ketamine a few times, the K-hole. I can't imagine how that is therapeutic, but there's states, I think Colorado's one of them, that there's like psychiatrists or whatever that, yeah, that's part of the therapy. You can sign up and basically use ketamine for therapy. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but I I would never have thought ketamine was like a psychedelic. But even when I heard that guy, what's his name, the chemistry guy that makes all those shows, pharmacopoeia guy, I forget his name, but he had a thing on it and said, yeah,
Hamilton pharmacopoeia.
yeah, like that. What most people do is they smoke ketamine, get into this K hole. That's like a relatively low dose, or at the therapeutic level or the psychedelic level of ketamine. Oh, it's a much higher dose. Where, holy no, I never liked ketamine. That was like weird. I remember like being conscious but couldn't move, and I was like, oh no, fuck that. like, like you were like aware, you were conscious, you could see, but like if you told yourself, oh, I'm gonna get up, your like body wouldn't work. Like the K hole or whatever you call it. Oh, that no, that wasn't for
By the
me.
way, Smash was posted a story, or at least one story in the chat from Michigan State University College of Veterinary Medicine about how THC is actually toxic to pets. And I'm reading through this a little bit. They're saying, though, that CBD is not toxic to pets, while THC is. And I have to be honest with you, reading through this, I reserve the right to be completely wrong about what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is not the result of a white paper, but my personal sort of anecdotal experience, which you can take for what it's worth. This sounds like bullshit to me, though. For example, among other things, just all the little points, CBD and THC are almost identical molecules. Now, does that mean that one is not toxic? No, there are plenty of things in the world that one is toxic and one isn't. Uh, but these molecules are so similar, and supposedly one is not toxic and perfectly fine, and the other one is toxic and not perfectly fine. I'm a little bit puzzled by this. Take a look. And just reading through the articles, they
Well,
look
I mean, they've been
like nonsense. These molecules are almost identical. THC has a couple more hydrogen molecules, hydrogen carbon atoms on the bottom. I'm not a chemist, so I don't know exactly what those particles are. But anyway, hydrocarbons we'll put on the bottom, but the rest of the molecule is the fucking same. Literally, how is one supposedly so deadly and the other one not? That
well,
sounds like bullshit to me. Now they are clarifying it in certain parts. For example, I looked up just Why is THC toxic to dogs? And one of the first articles that popped up was from WebMD. You can take what WebMD says often with a grain of salt, but still they say the most plausible part of it. They do say that they think it's toxic. They don't give a reason why they say it does, that there's a specific chemical reaction. They even say that CBD is still fine, but they say that when your dog is exposed to THC, the gut absorbs and stores it in bile. Here, I'll show you. Share screen. When your dog is exposed to THC, the gut reabsorbs it and stores it in bile, a fluid made by the liver. When your pup eats its next meal, the THC-loaded bile is secreted into the intestines. This re-exposes them. This is why your dog's symptoms are much worse. Or rather, alternately said, this is why your dog's dosage must be far lower, is how I would also interpret that. Dogs can be exposed in a number of ways. They can inhale secondhand smoke, swallow parts of the cannabis plant, eat marijuana-infused edibles, lick or eat THC oil or butter, eat poop after someone has digested marijuana. The effects of the poisoning may be worse. And they say THC is different from cannabidiol, CBD. CBD is a natural chemical compound found in cannabis or hemp plants and doesn't contain any THC, so it doesn't cause a high, quote unquote. In recent years, CBD oil has gained popularity, but there's no scientific data. They're just basically babbling about that one. They don't even know why it's good. They say one is good and one is bad, but they don't give you a reason for either one. I would take that with a massive grain of salt. This sounds like something that's never been tested. And so for legal reasons, they can't tell you that it's safe for dogs. And therefore someone is rushing or jumping to the gun and saying that THC is deadly to dogs. I mean, I reserve the right to be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to feed a dog fucking poison. That's the last thing on my mind. And if I found out that THC were bad to dogs, I would stop giving it to them forever. But that sounds like
Yeah.
bullshit.
Well, but I mean, in my life, there's been so much propaganda, meaning they've always tried to jump on that side of the argument. And a lot of it they've been proven not to quite be right. Most likely, you could even look at some of the white papers and find, oh, of course, they're funded by the veterinary pharmaceutical company that doesn't want people to be able to use CBD or compared to, yeah, even from my own experience with vets. Oh, most of the time they give you a prescription and you go to the pharmacy and it's actually same drugs that people take. Like the one for the heart disease was like this diuretic that we had to cut. We had this special little pill cutter thing because even the lowest dose one to my chihuahuas had to be an eighth of the pill was like the dosage. You just cut a sliver off. But it was like the same pills that people take. So, yeah, there's probably some science to it, but they've been wrong before about stuff like this.
Yeah, that seems to me to be something pretty bullshit. THC is broadly non-toxic to humans, and it seems like many other creatures. So I would be super surprised if dogs
Well,
are.
I mean, I guarantee you, horses were wild and grazed, and probably grazed and loved to eat hemp, like 100 years ago when hemp fields were predominant and grew wild. Oh, I'm sure horses love that. Like yeah, that was probably like a treat to them as far as like grasses and weeds. Like I sometimes walk the horses, they're like weed whackers, but like they're very particular. Like they basically want the grass. They don't want certain weeds. They spit it out or they don't even eat it. But certain weeds, oh, they love that. And I'm sure people hundreds of years ago used to feed like you fed them whatever you had or whatever they would eat.
Do we ever say hello, Jeff?
Hello.
Finally, we say hello. What's going on, Jeff?
good time. I just finished the hit.
It's a good word.
That good vape. And the mighty. Yeah. Vape's not bad. First thing anyway. I don't think I've smoked any
Are you talking
yet
about
out
like
of
a
a
dry
bowl.
herb vape or?
Yeah. Yeah. A mighty.
Oh, right on.
Stores
The
in
stores
Bickle
in
might.
Bethel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just with those, they've got little capsules you fill up. So you can fill up a bunch of them and they're ready to pop in. And yeah, I've learned though, like you'll keep getting a lot of smoke, but it gets really harsh. And the best is take like two or three good hits and that's it. And then once it starts getting harsh, you're like, yeah, there's more smoke, but no, just
Pretty
best to
much the
just
flavor
stop it.
turns
Yeah.
into shit, doesn't it? Like the first couple puffs are really powerful and nice, but then you basically off-gassed all the terpenes, and all that's left is that kind of burned toast flavor, huh?
Yeah, that popcorn and the first two or three, they're smoother, a lot smoother.
Yeah.
And I look at that and how much I'll smoke in a bowl because I really don't. I mostly just char my bowl. I don't burn it. Just a
You know what? A lot
total
of people
ash.
who well,
So it's not
you
wasteful.
may already know this, and so I'm preaching the freaking choir. But if you don't know it, you'll be like, oh shit. A lot of people will only people who grow. So like Ozzy CC was one of these folks. He had I don't remember if he had a mighty. I think he had the crafty, and then he also had that volcano. I think he had the smaller one, the crafty, and then
Uh-huh.
because right, the mighty I think is a little bit bigger one than the crafty. I
Yeah.
can't remember what handheld one is.
Yeah, the
The
crafty is real small. I don't think it has a display
There
and like one
And
battery.
the
And
crafty apparently is too small, is what I've heard from some people. But
yeah, I
anyway,
believe
no,
that.
no, no, actually,
That's
that's not true. I think Ozzy liked his. What were you saying,
Well,
D?
it worked. It's really the same mechanism and everything, but it won't last as long as the battery. I think everything's basically the same except like one battery and no display,
Hmm.
something like that. And then I've got
Brainz in the
the
sky.
bigger one too. It's the plenty.
I
And
thought
yeah,
about
it takes a while.
Wow.
what was I
But
going
I
to say?
like the mighty,
Oh, I
especially
never
in the
finished my
winter. I'll
thought.
go
I
out
was
with
going to
that.
say, oh, we keep talking over each other. There's a fucking
Sorry.
delay, and then we stop talking and then start talking right over each other. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I like the mighty in the winter. I'll fill up a bunch of those capsules and go out with it. And so if it's cold or especially if it's windy, it's just a lot more convenient. Yeah, and if it's cold, it's like a hand warmer also. So too.
I was going to say that people that grow weed, that it's not as expensive to them, obviously, because if you have to go buy it at the dispensary, it's a different story, and so you'll puff every single last puff out of it. But if you grow it yourself, what you can do basically after that first couple of hits that are flavorful are done, you just literally put that capsule. You're lucky to get capsules. I forgot about that. What a nice feature. Or if you have a little, we used to carry like film canisters. If you just have like a little canister or something you put in your pocket, and basically dump all that. Already been vaped, they call it. Not everyone knows there's a term already been vaped. There's still a huge percentage of the now activated THC available in that UV, and it's activated basically by heat. So you can literally eat it if you want to. A lot of people will sprinkle it
Huh.
over cereal, or they sprinkle it on their freaking granola in the morning or whatever, because it's literally activated weed. So you can literally eat some, and as long as you had a little bit of food, a little bit of fat in your stomach, it'll basically absorb into your stomach just like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know.
The plenty takes a lot. Like if you just use the full area there to fill up, like because
Oh, the
you can
plenty is
get
the one with the
the
handheld,
really
right?
huge. Yeah, and it takes as much about I think it's the same as the volcano actually.
Isn't it like a
Same
gram
area.
and a half or something?
Yeah, that seems about right. I was gonna say like about a joint and a half or regular size joint or just a big joint. Yeah. Yeah. So it takes a lot. So if you're not growing, yeah, the plenty is I couldn't see
That's
using that.
you know another reason to grow. It just becomes a completely different story. You don't think about Bud is always talking about how an eighth is nothing, right? Like you don't think about an eighth. Like if you were as a grower, if you misplace an eighth of weed, you're just like, man, whatever. Or as you're rolling your joint on a table or something. People always, when you see people pay for their weed, they're always picking up each little fucking crumb at the end of rolling a joint. If you have some weed on the table, you just brush it off. It's not a big deal for you. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
much better live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Table's got a lot of jars
yeah,
on it.
yeah, just in case there's one trichome head on it. Fuck. Like which movie was it? One of the Cheech and Chong movies where they're smoking the roach and it's literally, I think Tommy lights it and it's literally like just paper. It's like just, I mean, maybe one fleck of weed in there.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, what do you want to do? Oh, sorry, Jeff, go for it.
No, I was I don't know. I wasn't really gonna say anything too important. I was good. The dog thing seemed like yeah, maybe that was BS because they're pretty much just like us. And I think it kind of said, oh, it goes into the bowel and then comes out again. But so it seemed like poisoning meant like, oh, the dog was gonna get high and then it would get extra high because it would get
Yeah, that doesn't
absorbed.
sound like
And it could
poisoning.
be,
Poisoning is a toxicity that basically fucks you up. This is just the dog getting high. And from what I understand, every time that I've ever heard of a dog getting too high and going to the vet, they literally just tell them, just wait it out, it'll be fine. That doesn't sound like poisoning. That sounds like an
no,
overeat for sure, but not a good thing. But I don't think it's poisoning.
yeah, it sounded like, yeah, it was just getting high. They never said what it would do. Like, like last night we were talking about ricin and coming from castor beans. And so I don't like that's a protein. Ricin's a protein. And they said what it does. It blocks some enzyme or something. And, like they explained why it's bad for people and all mammals, I guess.
That's the thing. Like, what is it? Raisins and grapes and shit. They actually fuck with the dog's kidneys. I didn't read anything there that the THC was fucking with the dog's kidneys. It was just getting absorbed in the bile and getting reabsorbed in their fucking food when they digest it, because the bile is a digested enzyme,
Well,
right?
don't they also say that chocolate is really bad for dogs? Which
Again, I think because of the kidneys.
yeah, I've been known to give a little chocolate to my dogs. They fucking love chocolate, but yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, it's really bad. So yeah, this is my green. Well, it's not a greenhouse at the moment, but it's the framework of. Um, yeah, I guess it's like 60 foot. I'm just gonna shade cloth it, cut these branches of the willow or the pepper tree is what I found out. I always call it a willow, but it's not. And yeah, I have a couple months till the season's right.
Hmm.
But I have also realized, oh, there's a lot of work and I should start now. Yesterday I thought I was like just cleaning up and I like thought, oh, there's this dead branch. I'll throw it out, put it on the. It's manzanilla, right? These branches that she'll end up using in the bird cages for perches. And then she's like, yeah, these two branches right here of manzanilla are like $400-500.
Oh,
Because people, these are real nice because they have a bunch of branches for all the birds.
Hmm.
Um,
But are you gonna
yeah,
miss? I know you have other facilities potentially. Are you gonna miss having your indoor grow that you can just walk down and look at, or
yeah. Well, a little, but it's like kind of weird. I the first day that I started living here, which was a couple days ago, I got up at 7 and started working here all day, and then went to the warehouse up the road. It's not that far, and worked for like 3-4 more hours there. It's this weird thing. Like after so many years of it being, like I'm more motivated to work, and when I get there, get utilize the time to get it done. So like accomplish a bunch. Then when it's kind of a weird thing when
Here,
it's just right at your house. Yeah, I found myself a little bit procrastinating, lazy, having harder time motivating. Where, yeah, I like just going over to it. Not, yeah. Now, like my partner says, yeah, that's cool. but in so many months you're gonna miss that. Like, I've had it for so many years, but it's the change. It's been whatever change I'm going through, I'm embracing it, and I like it. Even though I am losing some things I've been used to. Seems like, well, Fumi's went through, I don't know all the details at your move and situation. Eagle went through a bunch of that. Other people I talked to, it seems the last year was a rash of whatever you call that. Most of us all seem to have landed. We're still somewhat, can't knock a good man out or whatever, but yeah, a lot of people all had situations. A lot of I didn't talk a lot about mine, but I was what do you call it? The other people going through it helped me. Like, even the fact that I wasn't alone in it, or like I remember at the beginning it was so overwhelming. I thought I blamed myself, where then I realized, oh no, shit, like things happen. It wasn't the, like the life is always changing. I know as an older person, I resist change. Change ain't easy.
If you resist, I might use my fist.
You hang on to whatever it is you think you got with your dear life, even though maybe the what do you call it? Your destiny is to go in a different direction, but it's hard to embrace that. At least I found. This is my favorite bird. It's called an Amazon parrot because the cockatoos, they talk, and the macaws, they definitely talk, but not as much and as quick. Like I've even taught them to say things, or they just if you keep saying the same thing all the time, they'll start saying it.
If I had one of those, I'd be swearing all the time. Fuck you. Suck my ball.
That's a weird instinct, really. Just copy sounds, I mean, I guess you got to learn bird songs.
Well,
the individual songs are important, for mating and stuff. So yeah, they got to be able to copy.
A couple times I tried to make a video, and they weren't talking like the way. But then when they heard themselves, when I was playing back what I was going to delete and re-record, that got them talking. So now I realize if I want to get them to talk, I could just play a video that I made when they were talking or whatever, and they get triggered by that.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they're talking about, like AI. AI will be able to talk to animals to some degree.
Sometimes I come over here. They talk when I'm here. Usually you have to hang around for a while. They don't do it on demand. But sometimes I'll be, their voices carry. I'll be over by the house or over by somewhere else. And they'll be having a full conversation with themselves. like talking way out shit, all shit they've overheard over the years. I realize a couple of them is my boss is ended a long-term relationship, but she keeps telling me how fucked up it was, and they always were arguing and fighting for all these years. The birds mimic that shit, dude. I'm like, oh shit, that's gnarly. They're fucking cussing each other out and shit. But she has a lot of animals, and people change. When she's had these birds for years, some of them over 15 years, they were all tamer. You could take them out, move them to because you don't spend as much time with them as years gone on. Oh, she feeds them and takes care of them, but yeah, they're mean now. Like the macaws will. Yeah, I think they could like not maybe bite your finger off, but oh, their beak is sharp and they know how to use it.
So what? They're all like pissed off prisoners or what?
Well, guess what? Almost all animals, yeah, even the horse, yeah, they're all pissed off prisoners.
Huh.
It sucks. I mean, they're obviously, even though they got all the best food and nuts and perch in a cage, they're in a cage.
Sounds like this movie. Hold on. Oh shit, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Even I
are
never
they paired up?
No, there's a couple. There's two cockatoos in one cage, and even this, like this bird is a hybrid macaw. I don't know if she bred it or not, but it's from. I'm terrible at remembering things. I have to learn it like 3 times and then I'll remember. This one's called a red. Like even if she explained
Oh.
if she bred these two different birds, the offspring would be sterile. Like I said this before, it's the mule concept. Like there's no such thing as a mule. A mule's a horse and a donkey, but a mule can't recreate. Same when you breed
Nice ass, honey.
species of animals. If they're not the same exact species, then the offspring are usually sterile or are sterile, which I guess is nature's. That's a good thing, because could you imagine if that wasn't the case? How many weird animals humanity would have created? Like, if you know what I mean, like kind of like, oh, imagine if cannabis was that way.
People would
Like,
make it
oh,
their mission.
a sativa, if you bred a sativa into an indica or like something, totally different species, or they're not a different species, but a different variety, like from a different country, a different region, that the offspring would be sterile. Like, no, not in cannabis, but because cannabis is one species. But birds, there's different species. I don't give them a lot of attention. But these are all like pigeons, but they're
Cannabis pigeons.
some of them are pretty cool. They like have
Think about it.
feathers on their feet. Like when I ask
There's a whole
questions,
bunch of them.
yeah, there's reasons she has certain birds and animals, like they're collectors or whatever. Even our chickens and ducks and geese, they're all like a collector. I don't know. It's certain times.
You should take the pigeons and turn them into homing pigeons and get them to deliver cannabis.
Well, when I come up here, they all leave. But then there's a bunch of free birds, like I call them the free birds, the birds in nature that come and they get food and scraps off of these birds. But like, yeah, the free birds come around and yeah, they get to fly away. Actually, the other day, this cage at the end, it was empty, but the door was left open. I don't know what kind of bird it was, but one from nature was stuck in there. Now the door was open; it could have left, but it was all in this panic because it couldn't figure that out. But it got itself stuck in a cage. I mean, if it was really up to me, I'd be like, yeah, let them all go, let them be free. But the truth is, most of them would die. Like they've been taken care of. They're especially when the exotic birds. Oh, they're not. This isn't the jungle. This isn't their native habitat. How would they survive? most likely a hawk or some
Same
other
time,
thing
there's
would.
not that it's a good thing that they were released, but there's apparently all kinds of populations of released parrots all over the place that do just fine in what Florida and Colombia and different places. I can't even remember. Central Park
Yeah,
apparently has a bunch of parrots. Anyway,
yeah. Well, people, yeah. I mean,
No
there's
way.
different animals that because they were pets
All
and
right, all
people
right.
released them, they became invasive species and disrupted not so much birds, but maybe in birds, but definitely in reptiles. Like some of the invasive issues we have in certain places is because somebody had a baby, whatever, snake, and let it loose, and then now so many years later, it it dominated
they have
the
invasive birds,
ecosystem.
that's for sure. What sparrows I think are invasive here in North America.
Look at Louisiana. They're invasive. They have invasive stuff there too. I can't. Oh, the ones that look like a rat, future rats. Future rats were brought here from I forget where, like China or something, and then they got loose, and then now they're wild. They're an invasive species. And look at all the crocodiles
Yeah.
too. It's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
and we've done that with fish too. Like I know the striper bass. Yeah, that's an invasive species that got moved around the country because there's striper bass almost everywhere through our waterways and different ways. But once they get into a lake, oh, they dominate, and then they kill off the trout and
Yeah.
other things that are more natural. Nature, yeah, we have no business fucking with nature like that. I think we've learned, but years ago before, yeah, like that was what explorers did. They brought animals and plant species to new places. Some of those were great things and helped humanity, but some of them became big problems. And Catalina Island is this example of it. The Wrigley owned that way back in the 30s and 40s and brought buffalo and like every fucking animal because that was his thing. And now I don't know who he probably their family might still own some parts of it, but Catalina's like a little island off of LA. Yeah, they have programs to try to fix some of these problems, not only with animals,
Jeez.
plants. You brought certain trees or certain plants, and now they became invasive.
Look at those. I don't know because I saw Fumi scrolling around. And it's on that list, but there's a Japanese hornet or wasp or something. It's like huge. It's in the States right now, or in the state. Well, it was. That's an Asian giant hornet. Those things are
Yeah.
huge.
Well, wait, wasn't there some killer bee thing too? And then, yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah, that's the Wu Tang Clan.
Yeah.
What the fuck with?
Smash says in the chat, by the way, bud, he's growing some Larry Legend. He popped
Yeah.
some Larry Legend.
I mean, Larry's a base of a lot of genetics that are modern. I mean, it was one of the. It did a lot of work, Larry, but then yeah, you don't hear much about Larry OG anymore. A few years ago, still kind of prevalent. I mean, it's still out there, but it's not talked about that much. But that's a killer strain, Larry OG. Even yeah, I have a Katsu Bubba that was gifted to me, and it's like 3 weeks in. I knew it was legit Bubba. I grew Bubba for years, decades ago. Just from the veg, the look of it. The Bubba. But now it's 3 weeks in. I got a little stem rub and oh yeah, it's the Bubba. I'm excited. Now it just like old Bubba, it didn't stretch at all. And it's only one plant on a tray with a bunch of hybrid ones that stretch. So yeah, I think tonight I'm gonna prop it up on a bucket to get it like level. But yeah, that now if you grew a whole tray of it, that the non-stretching part could be good. I remember why I stopped growing Bubba years ago. Yeah, you had to top it. It took longer in veg. And it was really hard to get like a big yield out of it. It was killer and golf ball fucking killer Kush buds. And there were times I had a tray and really thought, oh yeah, this is it. I'm gonna hit whatever number I was hoping to hit.
Little color to it too, right?
It would always come up short. It was never like, oh wow, it even yielded more than I thought. Nope. It was a low yielder. Now we used to be able to charge a little more for it back in that time, which yeah, that's why a lot of those strains aren't really prevalent. Because even if it's a lower yielder, whatever percent, let's say it's 30% lower yielder than the more modern hybrid. So okay, you need to charge 30% more for it. No, the market doesn't support that. There's not like, at least in my experience, yeah, the price per thing is, it doesn't matter little intricacies of,
It doesn't matter.
Better weed or this. No, like
meanwhile,
maybe
there's a surplus.
you could get them to give you $50 more or something, and that would take like a whole discussion and back and forth just to do that. It's like pulling teeth.
No letting joints.
So I think over time, yeah, that's why we don't see a lot of some. I think it's like, I always say it's like natural selection. The way back when the first breeders and the people I remember way back, it was taking some of the fire things that were around that not usually, always, OG, Bubba, they were low yielders. Like the super killer stank was a low yielder, and starting to cross them into things to try to improve the yield. Like that was a thing. But overall, some of the best weeds of history, the strains that we all know and talk about, yeah, those are all low yielders. Like the better the shit is, yeah. And even the hybrids that might have added some yield, yeah, like Bubba crosses, nah, they were never as good as this straight Bubba. Now at the warehouse, Sam, who pretty much is the boss, or he controls and runs things, yeah, no matter how good it comes out, if it doesn't hit a certain number, it ain't happening. Because yeah, you can't afford to do that in today's market. And that's why we don't, like, when you go to the dispensary, it's like, why isn't there some of these strains available? Oh yeah, because they're low yielders.
Take too long or something. Gentlemen, what do you want to do? Actually, it's Dee's show, so he can do whatever he wants. I was just going to say, do you guys want to keep chatting? Do you guys want to cut the show? What do you want to do? Oh, Dee, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I think I gotta go. I'm making dog food today. I've got some meat cooking, and yeah, I was buying some vegetables before.
Nice.
Wow, that's cool, Jeff.
That's the most like cost-effective, healthiest. Yeah, it just takes a little time, but it's not that hard to make like proper dog food.
Yeah, then freeze a lot of it, and still like half with kibble to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's things in the
because
kibble
I just mix up stuff.
that is important for the dogs. Like
yeah,
for
meat,
a while,
vegetables, some brown rice, and maybe some oatmeal.
we used to just feed our chihuahuas ground turkey. That was it. Right. And then the vet explained to us, yeah, as good as that is, it's missing this, that, the other, and you need to add a little kibble or supplement it because they
Yeah,
can't just live
that's
on
what I'm
turkey
thinking.
alone. And back then, that was when 3 pounds of turkey, those rolls at Walmart or at stores were like $6.
Hmm.
And yeah, I used to think, well, this is more economical. Sprinkle in some turkey in the kibble than buying
It
like
could
a
be.
can of decent
Definitely.
dog food that's like
Yeah,
even
definitely
the
should buy
decent shit's
decent
like
stuff. Yeah,
$2 a can and higher. But then
right. It
when
would be
this
cheaper.
inflation hit, whatever it was 3 years ago, turkey's more like over $10 for 3 pounds and shit. Oh well, and then that changed that equation a little.
Now I want a sandwich. I have to go to
But
the
but it's
store.
weird. I've used ground turkey to feed my dogs forever. And one time I was at a friend's house and they were like barbecuing turkey burgers, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't want turkey."
That's dog
Even
food.
though like I don't eat turkey because like to me it's become a dog food. Like, oh, I like turkey, but not ground turkey. Where it's not
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it, but I noticed like, oh, like I have a thing again about eating ground turkey because I've used it for so many years for dog
Yeah.
food.
Maybe meatballs. Maybe it's good.
Oh shit, it's good. It's health wise, it's way better, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I like it just as a burger though. I guess I've had them, but yeah.
Well, you got to cook it longer, so it's not like you don't want to have medium rare fucking turkey burger or
It's a little
rare turkey
plain,
burger.
kind of like chicken burger. Well, you can always spice
Yeah,
it up
I mean,
though.
there's a reason beef burger. Like, there's certain things that just aren't to be fucked with. I've had a couple of these vegetarian burgers that, yeah, there's I forget the
Like
names,
them. I
but
like
there's a
the
couple of them that, oh, it's
chick
not like
patties.
eating a burger. It's not like, oh, it's like meat. And the good ones don't try to be like that. It's its own thing. It's not the
Yeah,
ones I don't like are the ones that are trying to be like meat, like
I
that
don't like those
Impossible
either.
Burger or whatever. Oh, it is. Yeah, it has
Possible and
oil and
beyond.
but my brother's a vegan chef, so over the years he's had access to like I guess smaller companies or vegan products, and a couple times he had these patty things that were good, but
There are
good
these
in their own
fake
way.
chicken patties, not, but they're and instead of breaded a little bit, they're called like they're the original ones. Forget the brand, but they're called like just like chick patties, and they're round, and it looks like they're
Well,
breaded
it's
round
like top
patties.
ranked in the whole world.
And
There's this vegan restaurant way down in San Diego. I've only been there once, and it isn't that cheap, but it's I think it's Vietnamese vegan. Man, I mean, yeah, they have everything you can think of like an Asian restaurant, dish wise, but none of it's meat. But yeah, those like some of those things are better than any like like not comparing them to meat. Like that's where you it's like they stand on their own. It's like, wow, this is good. I don't like the ones that like, oh, it's just like chicken or it's just like because a lot of that vegan stuff stands on its own is good. Like it's good to eat. It tastes good. It's one thing I know when I've eaten
the fake meats are
vegan
more like
meals.
I think to pull over the meat eaters, whereas real
Yeah,
vegans they may never even tasted meat.
yeah. Like my wife was like that, but there were times when I would eat like a full vegan meal or whatever. I would feel good. Like even the next day, it was good for you. Like yeah, you didn't feel that heaviness after eating. Yeah, there's nothing like it's good. I personally couldn't. I wouldn't want to live on that constant. I'm not at that stage. I still like steak and meat and whatever you call it, being a carnivore, right?
Yeah.
Meatitarian.
Omnivore.
I was going to say, actually, one of the biggest confusing things for people is whether or not they can eat their XYZ ground meat medium rare, or does it have to be well done, basically? And the reason why you would want to basically cook any kind of ground meat well done is because it was ground before you saw the piece of meat. So if you grind it yourself, you can very safely, as long as the piece of meat was kept safely in the fridge, for example, especially with beef and red meats, basically, but also even frankly with chickens, as long as it was kept in a nice environment in kind of a coherent piece. If you grind it basically yourself, or if you see someone grind it, you can eat that meat basically medium rare, because the inside of the meat almost certainly is not contaminated. There's always a tiny, tiny chance that it could be, but it's usually a very, 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 very low chance, especially like I say with red meat. The inside of the muscle is not a good place for bacteria to grow. So if it has been pre-ground, though, you never really know what the surfaces of that ground. First of all, it's a huge amount of surface area with the ground meat, but also you never know which surfaces, other surfaces, the meat has touched on its way to becoming a ground piece of meat. Was it ground from a part of the internal cavity of the cow where maybe a little bit of poo touched it? Did it basically scrub on the floor somewhere? You'll never know. And so that's basically why ground meat that someone else ground, you should always eat well done if you can. But if you grind it yourself, you can eat it medium rare.
Well, I don't even know if, I mean, maybe I could search one out, but I grew up with multiple butcher shops that my mom used to go to. A butcher shop. You went in, it was just glass counter meat. And I remember she used to buy like pot or forget what's great. And no, they would grind it there. Oh, that was like really good. And yeah, even when you think like they put whatever percent, like 93%, 7% fat or lower. Yeah, if you looked at a piece of meat and it had that much fat in it, that's what you would leave on the plate. Like, and all that fat's ground up into the meat, which is good. Like, I think, I mean, I watched this
That's the
survival
juice of the
show
burger, but yeah, I know what you mean.
years ago where it was like the last man standing for $1,000,000. I forget what it was called. And the one dude wrestled a fucking, what was that? A moose. And with a knife, you didn't have guns, somehow slit the moose. He had a moose. It looked like he was going to win this thing outright. He had more food. He had years of food, but he didn't catch any fish or do any of the other things. He only lived on the moose. And after the first few months, oh, he knew to use the brain and all these things to render out as much fat as you could. But moose has very little fat, very little. Toward the end of the game, they had to like go through health checks, and yeah, he ended up getting. He had like 1,000 pounds of meat. Like you think, oh, he's going to win. Oh no, they medically pulled him because at a certain point, none of the meat had fat, and yeah, that's where I heard or learned or that the fat is actually what we need. Like that's what, like that's part of where the protein or the calories or whatever come from the fat. And meat that's like has no fat is, yeah, you can't survive on that alone.
They say that's one of the causes of overeating, is that basically the sugar industry lobbied to say that fat was bad, and basically ignoring that sugar was probably actually worse. And ironically, basically, it led to a lot of people essentially overeating from not feeling sated. Basically, they say that full fat food, like French food, for example, and anyone who's ever had French food, is incredibly fucking filling. And one of the reasons why is because it's all butter and cream and everything else. And they say that actually, paradoxically, that is quite a bit better for you because you feel fuller for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, just like so much propaganda, they told us all this stuff about food for so many years that was total bullshit just to make money
100%.
and killed a lot of people. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's why, like, all of a sudden we have a longer life is basically food.
Medicine and stuff. Believe it or not, U.S.
Yeah.
life expectancy is dropping quite a bit actually in the last few years. The rest of the world is going up and the US is going down. What does that say?
Well, but they also, I think are saying too that because of the cost of food, a lot of people are like eating more processed food than ever, or can't afford the good diet, and that affects your health. Like it was some weird thing I saw where it like showed if you had $1 or maybe it was $2 and went into a grocery store to buy something to eat for yourself. $2, that's all you had. Yeah, like the only options really were like processed food that, yeah, that's the cheap stuff. Like, now I grew up on all that stuff. I still have cravings for certain things. Like, oh, there's way better macaroni and cheese, but somehow I like the fucking Kraft whatever box of the fucking shit. Not all the time, but every once in a while, that is like oh, certain sugary cereals I grew up on. I still have cravings for Captain Crunch every once in a while. Yeah. Like it's hard to wean yourself off of that shit if you were born and raised on it.
Yeah.
I still like Pop-Tarts for God's sakes. And those are fucking, even Pop-Tarts have like an organic Pop-Tart. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait,
Yeah.
Organic Pop-Tart? What the fuck? You gotta be kidding me. Because they could, like, I realized the word natural got totally taken over. It doesn't mean anything. We're close to organic not meaning anything either.
Yeah, it's almost like an organic Twinkie.
Yeah, well, I bet you Hostess has some, like, all the companies had to make those things. Like some of the brands that have organic stuff, you're like, are you kidding me? Like, wait, there's organic cheese nips and like, yeah. But those are a couple of those products. Oh, the other night we had cheese and crackers, but it was organic Triscuits, right? I've liked Triscuits. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right since I was a kid. A lot of times when you try the organic version, it reminds me of what that product used to taste like and be like when I was a kid. Like a lot of that's just going back to like even some of the brands like post on their label or on their packaging, like ketchup. Oh, it's only the 3 ingredients. Like, that's all that's in it. The natural version of it costs more. And some of those are actually, yeah, worth it. Now, hey, I'm a single person, and so like I don't have a whole family to feed and go through jars of mayonnaise a month or something. But I would prefer to buy the better stuff. Spend a little more.
You really start to see it compound, bud. Like, I was a little skeptical too, honestly, a few years ago. I would try to buy obviously good ingredients, but I wasn't always buying organic and everything else. And actually, what really changed my mind on it was growing weed and seeing one by one all the different inputs that I could change or improve or better in some way with weed, to the point that I would say I'm fully organic, more so, I think, in many cases than most organic farms, because I refuse to use a number of pesticides and everything else. Once you start to kind of see the effects of that, or I don't know, maybe it is still psychosomatic, you start to realize what might be in your food. That basically is what happened to me. So little by little, I started to essentially, as much as I could, buy organic everything, eggs, vegetables, you fucking name it. And you start to actually see a little bit of a health benefit, honestly. At least, again, that could be psychosomatic, but at least fucking anecdotally, you'll see a fucking benefit over time. Same thing, honestly, with eating more vegetables. At first, it doesn't really make a difference, but over time, you're really adding better quality ingredients or better quality fuel, basically, into your fucking engine. I mean, obviously, you don't have a literal engine. You can think of it in terms of a car. Cars take premium fuel, and if you give them, some cars can take any fuel, and if you give them standard, they'll run fine, and if you give them premium, they'll run better. Some cars can only run premium, and if you give them standard fuel, it'll actually start to fuck up the engine. it's kind of interesting that we never really talk about it in those terms. I mean, probably because you're not going to fuck up your engine as a human being, but it will compound over time. And so if you give yourself shitty quality food and shitty quality fuel, that will compound over time. 1 day, 2 days, 2 months is well, 2 months might actually know you might notice, but if you're busy for 2 days or something, you have to go to McDonald's, it's not going to fucking kill you. But if you had to eat at McDonald's for 2 months, you're going to notice the difference. You're not going to be in the same shape that you would be if you were eating salads and fruit and fucking lean meats and everything else. You're not going to feel the same. You're going to have a punch and everything else. You're physically going to be different. You know what I mean? And that the compounding of the high quality ingredients, it seems to at least again, according to me, it seems to happen a lot more over time. Anyway, it's worth trying. We should probably start bouncing here soon.
Yeah. With GMO, just also, there's some other good things too, that it's not genetically modified or irradiated. So there's also that too. There's a little symbol for food that's been irradiated, and it looks like, oh, this is good. It kind of looks like a flower, but no, that's weird. Should pull that up
Well,
sometime.
it was like some documentary on Netflix a couple years back that was about allergies, basically the uptick in allergies, mainly peanut, but it went into all. And in that thing, they talked about that science had like it went back to saying that when humans started washing their hands and started to have sanitation, we started losing our gut bio, right? And you can go back so many years, they can test or prove that, like an old cowboy from 100 years ago, their gut biome was like 100 times more diverse than the modern one. And a lot of that's over the food and like part of that was during COVID. I remember there was a guy
Yeah,
that
I'll take
said,
better
yeah,
food
washing
over hand washing
your
every fucking day of the
hands
week, to be honest.
your hands obsessively is counterproductive. Like if you had good soil and you went and put your hands in that and like sort of washed your hands there, that would be better than stripping all the microbial life off of your hands. You'd be more protected by having more. Yeah, it made sense to me. Like, yeah, but first off, most people don't even have any soil that's worth putting their hands in.
Mm.
But like good soil or live soil or whatever, yeah, that and the gut biome thing, that makes perfect sense, that we have like less diversity in our gut, and then that's some of the diseases and allergies and things that we've developed are stem from that. They had science behind what they were saying. I thought it sounded like it made sense to me. Now the food industry and all them, they probably say, oh, all that's bullshit. Of course they do.
Well, on that note, boys and girls, I gotta make a phone call, so this is as good a time as any to cut the show. Do you guys feel like doing a short show this evening at some point? I don't know. Let's pick an arbitrary time. I don't know, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Do you guys feel like it or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably would.
See?
Even though right now it seems like a lot, but yeah, sounds good.
We don't have to. We certainly don't have. We can
No,
also do it
sounds good.
tomorrow. We can do it another
Um,
time. What do you guys figure? Interested?
I missed Wednesday nights.
yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Well, maybe we can even do game night tonight or something. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I missed game night too.
Right? Seriously. Boys and girls, we will try to be on my channel, which I should probably post to you before we bounce. So
Yeah.
you can subscribe to it. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed already. Where's my freaking thingamajigger? Dang it, I don't have it handy. I don't have it handy here. So the two channels, ladies and germs, are Fumes of Gold and Dank Culture Collective. I guess I'll go back to YouTube again.
Yeah, I couldn't find it by searching, but I clicked those
Well, they were
links.
brand new. Maybe that's why. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe that was why.
But it is frustrating. These channels really like to bury you until you
What
kind of,
fuck?
I don't know, pull out somehow. Uh, trying to say here we
But I
go.
clicked the link. Let me see if it comes- Well, now it does come up for me when I search, but I don't know. It's because I'm subscribed.
Yeah, people were having trouble, especially on Twitch. They couldn't freaking find me for saving their life, basically. Here we go. We have Dank Culture Collective and Fumes of both of those, ladies and germs, are channels that I intend to use in the future because I can just guarantee you that all the fucking trolls, we aren't even going to say their names because they're miserable human beings that don't deserve to be talked about. They will not give up. It's just the saddest fucking thing in the world. But, when you can't do, you tear down. So that's what they do. So literally, ladies and gentlemen, God only fucking knows why they latched onto us or to this channel, but and not others. But whatever, we've got them like a fucking a wart on the bottom of a bull's fucking scrotum. So I guess we're not going to get rid of it anytime soon. So, ladies and germs, please
Bottom
do
feed,
channels. What's that, D?
bunch of bottom feeders.
Seriously. Ladies and germs, subscribe to those channels. Tell your friends, please, so that it would help them grow. It would be really nice. I am trying to figure out what to do with the big channel. In theory, in about a month, we'll be able to use the big channel again, but I'm worried we'll just get another strike again. So it's the guy's real fucking committed, really. I don't know. And now he knows he can fucking basically beat me with just little reports. So it's pretty pathetic, a little coward. Who the fuck even knows who it is? It could be 5 or 10 different people. Anyway, whoever the fuck it is will probably just get the channel shut down again for another 3 months. So I'm trying to figure out a way to basically do private communities on that channel. I think it should be fairly easy. I'll let you guys know when I have it a little bit more fleshed out. It's been a little bit difficult because the channel has been down, but in theory, even that channel will be up again tomorrow. So in theory, even this week or something, we can start that yeah, right, until he gets another report. Anyway, the only reason the channel is still here is because I took everything fucking private. The guy was sniping every single fucking video he could. It's just the mentality, the psychology of these people. You have to wonder how absolutely unhinged people are. But anyway, it is what it is. Ladies and germs, gonna try to figure out something with these channels. I'm beyond tired with having some fucking cowards snipe at me from 6 ways to Sunday. It really does get to me. It gets to me to see other channels just rocket to the top, and a couple channels that I used to watch, and now they're 10,000 subscribers, and I'm just like, what the fuck? We're down here at with 50 channel, not even 30 subscriber, 36 channel, 36 clip subscriber, Dank Culture Collective. So, ladies and germs, try to help me find a way out of this. If you have any ideas, I am all fucking ears. Let me know. Fumidor@chronictable.com. You guys obviously enjoy the shows enough to watch them. So please don't hesitate to tell me if you have a good idea that would help out with this shit. It is tiresome. I think most of you would agree. So let me know. Take a look, ladies and germs, at the merch on offer, t-shirts, including this one right here over Tyrannosaurus Rex over at the merch store on Fumidor.com, ladies and germs. We'll see each other tonight for a short show. Who wants to go first? DGC Jeff, perhaps?
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. And talk to you later. Bye.
Or buddy, later. Bud is slowly walking back to the camera. Go for it, Bud.
Yeah, I'm feeding bulls. I'll see you tonight. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Everybody. No bullshit for Bud. Thanks very much for hanging with us. D, go for it, my friend.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, like Fumidor said, check us out later on. In the meantime, just don't forget to subscribe to Fumidor's two channels, as well as mine if you haven't already, which is the zombie underscore 745. And if you like the channel, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button to get notified when I go live. And on a side note, where did it go? I just ended the poll. 44% of you like it raw, like the dinosaur behind Fumidor, which is looking pretty
Mama
hungry
likes
right
it raw.
now. 33% said well done. Char that bitch. 11% of you guys said medium. And meat, are you crazy? 11%. I'll check you guys out all later on. Later.
There, D. Good to see you. Ladies and germs, thank you very much for hanging. Thank you, of course, for joining us on the emergency channels. How many freaking lifeboats are we going to need? This idiotic shit. But please do like, share, and subscribe Dee's channel. It's wonderfully gracious of Dee to do these channels for us, and of course to do these shows, and of course the takeovers on Saturdays. Ladies and germs, normally we would be saying, "Oh, let's see each other on Saturday," but because we are going to do a short show tonight, ladies and germs, we'll see each other hopefully on one of those two channels tonight. Either I don't know which one I'll be able to go live on first, so maybe Dank Culture Collective. We'll see how it goes, ladies and germs. Please do subscribe to both because we will almost certainly need both of them. We will certainly, let's be honest, need both of them in the future. So it's only a matter of time before they get my Fumidoro channel shut down, I'm sure permanently too. So ladies and germs, subscribe to those channels. Tell your friends. It would be nice if we could grow a little bit faster. It's kind of hard to do some of these shows when there's 20 people watching in total. So ladies and germs, honestly, tell your friends. Other than that, thanks very much for hanging. Be kind, be decent, be gentle. Don't be fucking pricks, dicks, or lunatics. Puff something
All
wonderful,
right.
gentlemen. What's that, D?
Oh, I didn't know I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Speaking of D, though, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the coupon code BRAINZ, BRAINZ, which is pronounced how, D?
Brains.
A little bit of a loyalty discount, ladies and germs, anytime you need it. Other than that, thanks for hanging, my friends. I guess I can't press the end, so I guess it's D's show, so you'll have to press the end, my friend.